from Kerala, we have Prejish A.P. Please come on the stage.
India, the cradle of human race, the birthplace of human speech, the mother of history, the grandmother of legend, and the great-grandmother of tradition. Let me start by saluting the words of Mark Twain. Respected judges and my dear friends, myself A.P.Prejish representing the state of Kerala. When India respects all religion with its secular culture, when our mother country depicts to the world that we believe in divinity and not in imperialism, when this nation cultivates peace and harmony for the whole world, at this very moment, I think the topic patriotism and nation building gives immense pleasure and relevance in this particular context. So, patriotism. According to the words of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, patriotism is like this. For me, patriotism is same as humanity. I am patriotic because I am human and humane. Imperialism has no place in my course of patriotism. Simply speaking, patriotism is like our love towards our mother. My mother is always superior to me, but it doesn't mean that other mothers are inferior to me. This is what patriotism means. We Indian respect and love our country. At the same time, at the very same time, we respect the policies and formulations of other foreign countries. This is what our patriotism is concerned. Coming to nation building, an organized, structured, planned procedure mainly to attain a national identity. This is what nation building means. It is very close to patriotism. But before discuss this topic in a wide sense, first of all, we have to know the global perspective of nation building as well as patriotism. The year 1789 is very heroic in the history of mankind. Do you know why? A slogan called liberty, equality and fraternity flourished throughout the world through a concept called French Revolution. And this revolution not only revolutionized the people of France, but also every nook and corner of the world. Thus, patriotism got empowerment. Coming to nation building, the turning point in the history of nation building is a revolution called the American independence. At that time, Thomas Jefferson had stated that the tree of liberty requires transformation from time to time through the bloods of patriots. This is how patriotism and nation building got its global perspective. After that, Russian Revolution, Chinese Revolution, as well as the technological revolution formulated by the Japanese people happened in the country itself. Then, the Indian perspective of patriotism and nation building. In Ramayana, Rama says that Janani Janma Bhumicha Sorghadabi Giriyasi, which means my mother and my mother country depicts to the world that they are more greater than the heavens itself. Even the great scholar Chanakya, in his master class work called Arthashastra, clearly defines a concept called patriotism and nation building. His formulations are Raja Rishi and Dharma Rajya concepts. In 10th century AD, a person called Shukracharya had denoted a book called Nidhisara. In Nidhisara, a core conduct of nation building and patriotism is clearly defined. This is the Indian school of thought. When we go through the timeline of Indian history, lots of faces had made commendable contributions in patriotism and nation building. The great revolt of 1857 gives us Mangal Pandey. The sacrifices of Subhash Chandra Bose, Bhagat Singh, and the Indian national movement led by Mahatma Gandhiji had institutionalized patriotism through concepts like Hind Swaraj, Sarvodaya, Satyagraha, etc. Even the lines of the great Rabindranath Tagore, where the head is held high and where the mind is without fear, gives immense pleasure to every Indian. The formulations of our first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, as well as the frameworks of Dr. Ambedkar, made India an ideal model for nation building process throughout the world. This is the facts and figures of Indian school of thought. So, I would like to depict what are the major challenges of this particular topic. What are the main challenges which patriotism and nation building faces in today's context? The first point which I would like to give is a concept called regionalism. We as an individual, very happy to say that I belong to this state, I belong to that state. This is very evil concept for patriotism. We have to stand together for an Indianism. Instead of that state concept, we have to fight for Indianism. In India, what is happening? It is a concept of state building, not nation building. So we have to say no to a concept called regionalism. The second most biggest threat which patriotism and nation building faces is a concept called extremism. Extremism in the form of Maoism and terrorism. Both these concepts always focus on dictatorship, not democracy. Why we are not fighting that much on Maoism? Just go to the Maoist corridor areas in the Jharkhand or Chhattisgarh, any place. Just give them development. Just give them basic infrastructure. We will get the access of the poor people, the downtrodden people in those corridors. Then they will give us back democracy. This is how we have to tackle Maoism. Then coming to terrorism, even the sacrifice of Lieutenant Colonel Niranjan, even the great sacrifice of Major Sandeep Unnikrishnan shows that it is high time we have to demolish terrorism, a concept called terrorism. Both in Maoism and terrorism, the concept is like this. They are politically motivated, they are politically loaded and emotionally charged. This has to be nabbed with any cost. The third most challenge which I would like to depict is the mindset of youngsters. I think we are having the 60 to 70% of the population belongs to youngsters according to the data of Indian Statistics Department. What this shows, my dear friends, we are the global workforce. Within 2020, any placements in Silicon Valley, any placements in European countries or Asia, we will be placed on that particular placement. So we own the global workforce. But unfortunately, Indians are not that much proud to be an Indian. Dr. Abdul Kalam had clearly stated that don't try to become handsome. Please give your hand to some. This is what youngsters should do. I would like to remind you the story of Captain Vikram Batra. While Captain Batra was fighting in the Kargil sector, Pakistani forces attacked him and they had given him a communication message that please leave the place. And Batra replied, "Ye dil mange more." This heart demands more. This is what Indians have to do in patriotism and nation building, especially the youngsters. So we have to give our hand to some. The fourth most issue which patriotism as well as nation building faces is social injustice, especially in the case of women. I would like to give you a story of Arunachala Muruganandan. Do any of the people know the name Arunachala Muruganandan? He is termed as the menstruation man of India. Simply speaking, he created safety napkin pads. And he delivered to rural India, especially to the women in rural India. They don't know how to use a safety napkin pad. And the death rate comes into a reduced deadline by 60 to 70%. This is what women empowerment means. This is what women empowerment means in Indianism. So we have to address women issues. My dear friends, patriotism and nation building is considered to be a textbook. It is incomplete if it doesn't include women empowerment in that particular topic. Then coming to the issue of social injustice in case of the downtrodden society as well as the Dalit issues. According to the recent reports of Arjun Sen Gupta committee, 863 millions of Indians are having only rupees 20 per day. This is pathetic. 80% of Indians are having rupees 20 per day as they are earning. This is pathetic. We have to change it. So these are the major challenges of patriotism and nation building as far as I am concerned. So the question is, what are the solutions? How we can tackle this particular issues through patriotism and nation building? My first solution is we have to start patriotic clubs in every nook and corner of this country. We have lots of organizations, Nehru Yuva Kendra, NCC, NSS, etc. But we don't have an apex body for patriotism. We don't have a 24/7 organization for patriotism. So my first suggestion is we have to organize a patriotic club, especially for school students, only for school students. The priority must be given to LP as well as UP and high school students. We have to give proper patriotic education. We have to conduct camps and organize them as good patriots. Coming to the second solution, we have to start Shanti Sena. We don't have a Shanti Sena even in this India. The biggest dream of Mahatma Gandhi was to start a Shanti Sena concept. So this we have to institutionalize into a greater extent, Shanti Sena. The emphasis should be given to college students. Then my next suggestion is we have to focus on entrepreneurship. As we know that the flagship programs of our Prime Minister, Digital India, Skill India, gives big advantage for entrepreneurship. But my dear friends, we have good IT parks, info parks, techno parks, but we don't have a large-scale agricultural park. We have to start in various parts of country, great agricultural park. We have to respect that we belong to an agrarian economy. Instead of entrepreneur, we have to use the word agripreneur. Instead of entrepreneur, we have to use the word agripreneur. Also, our concern should be given to environment. So, coming to environment, it's ecopreneur. So, new concepts of entrepreneurship must be initiated to the country itself. This will enlarge the country. So, I would like to highlight the quotation of Swami Vivekananda. When he went to Chicago, an Englishman came to him and said that, "Are you not civilized wearing this dress?" Vivekananda replied that, "In your country, the measurement of a tailor makes personality. In my country, the measurement of a karma makes personality." So, what we need is muscles of iron and nerves of steel. I would like to say a Hindi quote. "Be Hindu hum, Musalman bhi hum, Sikh, Isai bhi hum, ek insan bhi hum, मैं एक नहीं अनेक हूं, इस मिट्टी का एक खंड भी हूं, सारे हिंदुस्तान भी हूं, जय हिंद."
Well, thanks, Prejish.